What's happening, everyone? It's Kyle from Magpie 24/7. I hope you're all good. Now, last night took place, which was the final day of the transfer window for this season, and it was quite a quiet day for Newcastle. Steve Bruce obviously says a couple of things were in the pipeline, and we're going to have a busy day, but it turns out that we're not going to be, we haven't been that busy. We've brought in one and sold one. There was talk about Richie going, there was talk of Hamza Chowdhury coming in. Neither of those happened, sadly. Sadly coming in. I'll be sad to see Richie go, just to clarify. But yeah, it was a quiet day. They waited until the deadline to announce the signing of Joe Willock, which I thought they were taking a bit of the piss. But hey ho, we'll crack on. I'm going to deal with the outs first, because obviously I think Yedlin deserves tribute. I think he deserves to have this have this from us, because when he came in, there was a lot of skepticism over him. Obviously, being a former Macklin and stuff, and not doing very well at Sunderland, there was a lot of questions about Yedlin. But he came in that championship season, one of Rafa's first signings, and he done really well. That clearance off the line against Derby, a couple of performances that he put in that were really good, and I'd probably say he was the best right back in the division that season. And in the newly promoted season as well, I think he done really well again under Rafa's team, because we're obviously that first season I think we played 4-2-3-1 and we did all right, finishing mid-table, which was great for a newly promoted side at the time. But after that second season, he was starting to play less and less and less. Obviously, I think he got sent off against Wolves a couple of years ago, and he's very hit and missy in the squad. But then, and yeah, it just didn't work out for him after then. Obviously, he had a good couple of performances here and there. He scored against Bournemouth last season, I remember. But even me and Paul said on our podcast before the season started, keep or sell, that Yedlin his time was probably up in Newcastle, and it is sad to see him go because he's a top professional. He always wore his heart on his sleeve and he always gave everything he had. That was never ever called into question with Yedlin. Effort was always there, and he always he cared about the community as well. He helped the kids in Baker. The foundation were paying tribute to him yesterday, so he will be missed up here, no doubt about it. And he had a good personality about him as well. Obviously with his two dogs and stuff, and with the way he dressed with his American culture, he was very outspoken in that regard, and I think people like that. I think people like Yedlin. He was always one of the good guys at Newcastle, and yeah, got nothing but good vibes and respect for him. And I wish him well going to a big club like Galatasaray. I hope playing in front of 52,000 at St James's prepped them well for what awaits them in Turkey, because they're a noisy bunch and a good set of fans of the Galatasaray lot. So yeah, nothing but respect. I hope Yedlin goes there and does what he did in the Championship for Newcastle and become one of the best right backs in that division, because I think with his athleticism and his ability to drive forward, I think he will be a force in that division, because the Turkish league they're starting to bring some players in. They've got Ozil, they've got Yedlin, Premier League pros. Obviously Ozil being a bigger name than Yedlin, of course, because he used to play for Real Madrid. But yeah, it's good to see the Turkish league finally getting some recognition, because it's an underrated league in my opinion. Besiktas, Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, the team that beat Man United, the had Demirspor. I kind of pronounce them, so I'm not going to try. But they've got a solid base at the minute, and I'm happy the Turkish league is starting to become a place for players to go to. But on to the incomings now, and Newcastle signed Joe Willock on a season-long loan. No, there was talk of an extra season being added onto that, but that hasn't been implemented. It's just till the end of the season, which I was a bit frustrated with, because I would have liked to see Joe Willock get a bit more time. But what does he offer? I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. I have only seen him play a handful of times. I'm not one of these Sky Sports pundits that can just drag up whatever stat from whenever he played in his under sevens or whatever it may be, or he's under 25, under 22 or whatever. I don't know, but I'm not one of that. I've only seen him play against Newcastle about 2 or 3 times, but from watching them games and seeing him play, I think he's what we need. To be honest, he's got a bit of fight in midfield, something we've lacked, and he's got a bit of energy as well, something we've lacked. So if he can come in, am I sure he's good enough? Yet I'm not sure, but he's what we need. We need a bit of energy. We need a bit of spark in that midfield. I'm just slightly concerned what that means for Matty, because he's always fell victim to being dropped for the other players, and he fell massively victim last year when Bentaleb came in, and he was never seen again for the rest of the season, barring a couple of flipping junk minute last few minutes subs. That's it. So I really hope it doesn't affect Matty's development. Because obviously I know Joe Willock's a good player and stuff, but I want to see Matty in the team. It seems we only play Matty against the big six away from home. Bruce likes to feed him to the dogs. Now I wouldn't care, I think Matty in that diamond system that Jones has came in and implemented, I think he'd be decent because he's got energy and stuff like that. But yeah, I think Willock's a solid signing. I really do. I really wish Newcastle had pushed the boat out though and went for more. I think Jetro Willems was available. The excuse for that was he hasn't had enough game minutes. But we signed Joe Willock, who's had one Premier League start. We signed Danny Rose last year, who had a handful of starts for Tottenham. We signed Bentaleb, who had only played twice for Schalke in a year. Like, these excuses, Bruce, are just full of shit, to be honest with you. And it's just Bruce lying out of his arse again. That's what he does. But yeah, I'm happy with the Joe Willock signing. I'm obviously sad to see Yedlin go, but I think it's best for both parties that he has. Obviously, I hope Manquillo can stay fit, because if not, it's Emil Kraft or Jacob Murphy, or if not, Isaac Hayden at right back, which would be a shame to see. Because I think Hayden's more suited to midfield, and I think he proved that at the weekend. But going into this game against Palace now, and it's the most confident I've been for a game in a while because of how we played against Everton. Because I think Graham Jones has came in, and the one thing I'll give Steve Bruce credit for is he stepped aside and let Graham Jones do the work he needs to do. Although he is trying to take credit for it in the press, which I find hilarious, to be honest. Because obviously the players have been like, we've worked on this for a couple of days, which sets the time Graham Jones came in. But Bruce will say, "Oh, we're working on this before Jones came in," and it's like, you weren't. Like, do you know what I mean? The fans can see through your bullshit. So stop lying. Just say Graham Jones just came in and had a positive influence, instead of trying to take the credit for yourself. Because your mates in the media will be like, "Oh, well, look at Steve Bruce, and he's turned them around. They're playing really well and stuff." And I noticed a couple of little things, because I watched the highlights back on BT, and Graham Jones isn't in it. It's just Steve Bruce. So I don't know why they're trying to push this agenda of Bruce has like to change the system and turned it around, because he hasn't. Like, there's more fans on social media believing that Graham Jones is now the manager without role. I'm one of them. I really think Graham Jones is now the manager, and Steve Bruce just does the interviews, and he's a figurehead. Like, that's what it feels like to me. And like, yeah, if it keeps up, then I'm willing to go through that and obviously go from now to the end of the season, because the Everton game was a breath of fresh air. We played brilliant. The best I've seen we play under Bruce, that's for certain, and it wasn't even Bruce that did it. But yeah, we'll go into the next one. I think it's going to be a different game. The last time, obviously, I know we'll beat them 2-0, and Joelinton was probably man of the match. There's questions of whether he plays tonight. I think I think they'll play the same system. I think they'll play the diamond in midfield again. But it'll be a question of who plays instead of Fraser, because Fraser's obviously ill. Will it be Joelinton, or is Maxi fully fit and ready to go? If Maxi's fully fit, obviously he gets the nod for me. But as well on the Palace side, because we didn't have Maxi in the last time we played Palace, but they didn't have their talisman either. They didn't have Wilfred Zaha, and he'll play the night, so it's how we deal with him. I think it's literally a case of how we dealt with Richarlison and James Rodriguez. We're aggressive, we're getting the face, even though we give away a couple of free kicks and a couple of yellow cards are given, you get it, you get in, rough with the players, and you get rough, with Zaha and Eze as well, because he gave us problems in the last fixture, and go from there, and try and press and hassle them. Because one thing about Palace is they're a very good defensive side with capability to counter on the break. So I am expecting a tough game. I am more confident. I'm not actually proper dreading this game. With the way we played against Everton, under Jones, I see a bit of progression there. I see a game plan. I see something that we can work towards. Do you know what I mean? And that's really all we've wanted, Newcastle fans, isn't it? Like a bit of hope and a game plan and a cohesive football team. Whereas we're told by Bruce's mates in the media, we expect Champions League football, we expect trophies, and you couldn't be further from the mark. But these pundits have this thing where, this myth almost, where Newcastle have to play attacking football, they have to be entertained, and they have to win trophies and be at the top end of the league. Of course, would like to be there. Of course, every set of fans beneath the top six hope to be in the top six. Do you know what I mean? But we're not. It's just like we just want something to cling on to, a bit of hope, because we haven't had it. Like under Bruce, how many can you count on one hand the amount of bad performances we've had under Bruce this season? You cannot, because it's more. We've been good under Bruce, and only Bruce, twice this season. West Ham away, Morecambe in the cup, and we'll rid Willock in the cup. We're shit in a lot of games this season. Brighton, Southampton, Chelsea, Man United, Aston Villa, Sheffield United, Brentford reserves, Fulham at home, West Brom at home. You know, even when we've won games under Bruce this season, we've shithoused. Tottenham away, Wolves away. All these games from the season, we've rid Willock. Even when we've picked up points, we've rid Willock really badly. Which, you know what I mean? It's just like, it's been so frustrating to be a Newcastle fan this season. I think you know that as well as me. Just watching one and seeing how damn frustrating we've been at times. But yeah, hopefully under Jones we can get some consistency going and some good performances, because I really like what I've seen on at the weekend. He was hugging the players after games, he was encouraging them, and looked like he had a bit of bottle about him, whereas Steve Bruce just stands there and does this and picks his teeth and like talking with the other Steves about what he's getting on Just Eat. It's just like, do you know what I mean? He just doesn't look bothered about the football. Even in interviews after we get beat, it's literally a case of like, oh well, you know, we'll get him next time, we'll roll the sleeves up and that. You've run out the arm. Do you know what I mean? And you've run out of gloves as well. The gloves are off and all that bullshit. But yeah, I'm confident going into tonight, but keep Steve Bruce as far away from that tactics board as humanly possible. Just have him go out and do the interviews, Graham, and go about it, but keep Steve Bruce away from that. I know it's short notice from the match, obviously, because this will go out about 1. And obviously the match kicks off at around 7:15, 8:15, I think it is. So yeah, it's just literally a case of get your predictions in. Let us know how you feel about Graham Jones' appointment and the Everton game as well, and going into Palace, how you feel going into that too. But as for the podcast, me and Paul will be doing a podcast tomorrow. We'll be joined by a special guest as well, Owen, formerly of Magpie Centre, NUFC Cloud, Newcastle Fans TV, as like myself. He'll be on the podcast tomorrow, so we're looking forward to shooting the breeze with him. It's been a while. It's been a while since we've been able to have a catch up with Owen properly, so it'd be nice to have him on and talk about the match, and hopefully there's a win we can talk about in another positive podcast. But if you don't know about the podcast, it's the Magpie 24/7 podcast. We're on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, we're on there. It's doing really well at the minute. There's a lot of people enjoying them and stuff, and me and Paul enjoy making them as well. Although there has been podcasts where it's been like, ugh, we have to talk about Bruce being shit again. But like the last one against Everton, I was buzzing for all day. I couldn't wait to do them, and I'm really enjoying that aspect. I'm really enjoying the podcasts and really enjoying what we do on Magpie 24/7 as well. Because we're just interacting with fans, we're just enjoying ourselves again, which is fantastic. We're really enjoying it. But enough of that. I'll love yous and leave yous for now, and hopefully see yous on the podcast tomorrow, and hopefully tonight 3 points. But catch yous later, everyone. See yous later. Ta-da.